just going to get right to it. So in recent years, studies have shown that there is a big problem with sports. Some of you might not care, and others might ask, well, what's this big problem with sports? Well, a group called Project Play did a study that showed children ages 6 to 11 in the year 2008 participated in sports 39% of the time. So 39% of children ages 6 to 11 participated in some kind of sports. 3 years later, this would be 2011, the same group showed that only 34% of children ages 6 to 11 participated in sports. We're going to move up the age bracket a little bit. Children ages 12 to 18 in 2008, 44% participated in sports. Compared to 2011, the number dropped to 38.7%. Those are huge numbers if you think about the amount of children in the United States. Okay? There are two, I would say there's more than two, but two main reasons why the numbers have dropped. One is that some children don't want to participate in sports, but I would say that's the lesser of the two. The larger one is the parents don't want them participating in sports. Now, there are some reasons for this. Some of them are good. They're pretty legit reasons. But a big one I've heard is, I don't want my child getting injured. Okay, so when I say a child participating in a sport, the sports you're probably going to immediately think of are football, soccer, baseball, and maybe you think of field hockey. But if you think of those four, can anybody take a guess at how many sports you are not thinking of? Anybody? 500! Good guess. No? 7,995 sports. Yeah, that's a lot of sports. What is this group? World Sports Encyclopedia in 2003 recorded 7,999 sports. Now, yeah, over 13 years numbers can change, but I believe we can safely assume that it's probably still somewhere between 7,000 and 9,000 sports being played in America. And I'm just going to list a few that I bet you probably didn't think of. Ready for this? They have some weird names. Footbag net, CPAC top raw, cesto ball, korfball, bat and trap, oina, and wingsuit flying. I had to throw that one in there because wingsuit flying is a sport, guys. That's awesome. Now, I'm not telling you to put your kid into wingsuit flying. That could be very dangerous. Don't do that. But it's just a fun sport. So, yeah. I even quizzed myself on this, and I only could name 52 of the 7,995 sports. 52. That's crazy. So, today I just want to show you why every kid should play sports. I do know I have a few music ed majors out there, so not to offend you, I am not telling you to keep your child out of music, art, or theater, because all of those things are incredible. I'm just talking about the sports aspect today, okay? So, even if you find a sport that your children or child can play, what's it going to benefit them? What are they going to get out of it? Well, the same group, Project Play, that I mentioned earlier, conducted a study that showed adolescents who played sports were 8 times as likely to stay fit through the rest of their lives as compared to those who didn't play a sport as a child. This same group also conducted a study of child obesity and showed that the rate of child obesity among children who played sports was 74.8% lower than those who didn't. Again, that's a massive number. Along with the health benefits of the physical activity that comes along with sports, a 2010 report in Science Daily cited a medical study presented at a conference for the American Heart Association that links physical fitness to better school performance. On standardized testing, like was mentioned earlier, a great difference was found that ranked children who participated in sports higher in grading levels, almost 7% higher. So yeah, that's again a massive number. A lot of massive numbers here. This is awesome. Yeah. So let's see, where are we? Some other skills children can learn from sports are presented by James Humphrey in his book, Child Development Through Sports. They include, but certainly are not limited to, sportsmanship, leadership skills, social skills like teamwork, and accepting responsibilities. The next section that I want to talk to you about is actually a personal one, and I've actually been looking forward to talking about this for a long time. Here's the question. Should I put my child into sports, even if they have a disability? And my answer is a definite yes, in all caps. Written in all caps, yes. You may be surprised by this, but now I do want a show of hands, please. How many of you have ever heard of Buddy Ball? Anybody? That's one, okay. Buddy Ball is an organization, I'm going to explain this real quick, that will take a child with a disability and pair them with a buddy. And that buddy will then play out the entire sports season right next to their partner, whether it be pushing them around the bases in a wheelchair or helping them make a play in defense. Most of the sports they play, at least the ones I've seen, are baseball and soccer. I would imagine they have others, but those are the two I've seen. I had the opportunity to be the buddy of a 13-year-old boy named Peter. Peter was not always disabled. He was actually in a car accident when he was 8 and lost complete mobility from his waist down and was wheelchair bound and told he would never walk again. So Peter, at the age of 13, told his parents that he wanted to participate in Buddy Ball. So his parents let him. He was, he may have been completely paralyzed from the waist down, but he didn't get depressed at all about that. There was one time the pitcher, who was also Buddy, I don't know how he did this, but he's throwing underhand and somehow completely threw it over Peter, like right over his head, hit the backstop, and Peter looks at him and goes, I'm just going to use the name Joe. He goes, Joe, if you're going to hit me, please hit my legs. I don't want to feel it. That's just the kind of person he was. He also said that on the Buddy Ball field, buddies have a dress code. Shoes, socks, pants, a shirt, maybe a hat, and an enormous smile. On a Buddy Ball field, another great thing is that there's absolutely no competition. None whatsoever. It's strictly an outlet for these kids to have fun. Now, before I wrap this up, I have a few comments or stories from people that have participated in the Buddy Ball program. First, a buddy named Betty. That works. Okay. My first experience with Buddy Ball was a couple of years ago, not knowing what to expect. Once the baseball game started, it was nothing less than magical. The parents and coaches are so appreciative to know that there are folks out there willing to help, and they work very hard to make this the best experience possible for the children as well as the buddies. Needless to say, we all have a good time. Being a buddy has been the most rewarding thing I've ever done. Once you see how hard these children try and the smiles on their faces, the rewards are endless. These loving children start to look to you with so much trust and loving smiles that I look forward to ball nights even more than they do. These children have a special place in my heart, and each year you just love them even more. Now, I know why they call it Buddy Ball. They become your buddies for life. When the season is over, you find yourself looking forward to each season even more than the last. And the last story comes from parents, the story of Jean and Karen Smith. Buddy Ball has been such a blessing for our family. It helps us to interact with other families who are facing challenges similar to ours. We also value the time we spent at Buddy Ball as a family, while our daughter is developing as a person. Our daughter looks forward to each event and getting to know all of her new friends. She has gained so much confidence from the cheers and encouraging words or high fives from buddies or teammates. We love to see her smile while she interacts with others. It is so great to see all the athletes participating and so excited. The best part is seeing them all cheering for and encouraging each other instead of focusing on competing against each other. So I hope through this short period of time that I have at least sparked some interest in the world of childhood sports. Maybe you even learned something you didn't know, like how sports can positively affect your child in things like communication, education, and responsibilities. I know these things to be true from a personal experience, but for those of you that don't, I hope some light is shed on that today. Thank you.